Hello, welcome back, and I'm going to take you through the rest of the adding constraints and controls. This is video 2. And so where we left off is I had you repeat what we did on the left arm to the right arm. So if you did that, you should have something that looks like this if you select the COM control. So the next step is we are going to get the iRig working. So we need to make sure that we don't have any translations or scale on the eyes, which I do. So I need to select both eyes. That's with the cornea as well. And click on Delete by Type History and Freeze Transformations. And we have to do that on the eyes for this to work properly. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create locators to place inside of each eye. So we're going to create 2. So we're going to click on Create Locator. And when I select the locator, it'll be propagated at 0, 0, 0 in the axes. So we're going to move that up. Okay. This is going to be very hard to do if you have your character mesh showing, so I would make sure you put in a layer and get rid of the mesh for now, just so the eyes are showing. So I'm going to go to the top view now. It's really hard to see what I'm doing. I'm going to hit the 4 key, and I can see that I need to turn on polygons. There we go. So I need to get that just centered the best I can. It doesn't have to be perfect, because it won't matter. It just needs to be somewhat centered. Go to the side view, hit the F key, and hit the 4 key so I can see inside. And the eyeball doesn't even have to be straight across, meaning that I've got it angled down, and it's not looking straight ahead either. Okay, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You can rotate the eye any way you want, but you have to delete the history of that and freeze transformations of the eyes if you do that. Okay. So I'm going to name this. This is say left underscore I CTRL. Oh, this would be something different. It'll be LOC for locator. So left I LOC, and then we're going to go to the top view. And we are going to do a Control D and move that over. So we should have 2 locators now, right? And so I'm going to place that at the center as well. So that's placed at the center, close to the center. And we know that it's okay on the side view because we placed the other one. So we're going to rename this one right. So I'm just going to change this a little bit. So right eye LOC. Okay. Alright, so with these 2 selected, we're going to select the locators, and we're going to do a delete by type history and then freeze transformation. So we need to zero those out. That looks good. Okay. If you haven't done so already, you'll want to select the smaller circle for the eye and then the larger circle and hit P so you can parent that. And then you're going to select this smaller circle, the right one, and then the larger circle for the eye control and hit P. And then when I click on this will highlight, and it will also highlight the smaller ones inside. So basically the main controller will select the children, which is the right eye control and left eye control. And this will be the main eye control. Okay. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and finish up the parenting and constraint systems on this. So we're going to select the left eye and the left controller, the left eye lock, and hit P. Okay. and we're going to select the right eye and the controller and hit P. Now make sure that before you do this, and you can go back, Control Z, is to make sure that you do a freeze transformations on both of those, like before you parent these together. Make sure that it is zeroed out, so make sure you hit the freeze transformations on those. So those have to be zeroed out before you parent them. So go back if you did not clear out or freeze transformations on these locks. Okay, it's important. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to select, make sure that we parent this, and just select the main eye controller and hit P, and click on, I've already done this, but select the smaller one on the right eye and then the main controller and hit P. So when you select both of these, they will work together. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to select that controller and the eye, okay, and we're going to create an orient constraint, so, or excuse me, aim constraint. So we want that to aim towards the controller. So make sure the maintain offset is on and click on add. And do the same thing with the right eye, the right controller first and the right eye. And then we're going to go to constraint and then aim constraint. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click on this left controller, eye controller lock, and shift select the head and hit P. And select the right eye lock and just select the head control and hit P. So when I click on the head, it selects these guys as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the main eye controller and just select the head control and hit P. So hopefully when I rotate this, that everything rotates together, and that is correct. That looks good. Okay, to recap, I parented the eye to the left eye to the left controller, the right eye to the right controller. I parented the eye lock control to the head, and the same thing with the right eye. I parent it to the head control, and I parented the eye control to the head control. So when I select this, it should rotate up and down. Okay, that's awesome. So we also want to check the eyes itself to see if we can move those. That looks good. And check the right eye control. That looks good. And then move the main eye control up and down and all around. It looks really creepy, but it works. Okay, so we've got one last thing to do, and that's to add a global control. But let's go ahead and check out and make sure everything's working with the rig so far. So if I move the COM control down, it will move everything with it. If I click on the hip sway control, I can move that back and forth and move that up and down. There we go, that's good. Just make sure you zero everything out again, the controllers. Now, again, I can move this forward. Now, if I move too far, it'll pull and rip away from the reverse foot. So what we want to do is add a global control now. Alright, we're almost finished, so let's go ahead and add a global control. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on Curves and Surfaces, create a curve circle, and we're going to expand that, make that a little bit bigger, scale it up, and we have to place it right at the bottom of the feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the character now, go to the side view, and we're going to move that up right down to the bottom of the feet. Okay. And then what we want to do is, this is super important, Again, we want to delete by type history and freeze transformation. So delete by type history. I'm in polygon modeling. If you want to do it this way, you can too. Delete by type history, modify freeze transformations. Okay? That's super important. So the next thing we're going to do is we want to open up the outliner. So Windows, Outliner, expand that open, and we're looking for a couple things. So I'm going to have you select some stuff in here with the holding down the Control key. So it's important that we select the root joint. Okay, now hold down the Control key. We want to select the root joint, the left foot control, hold down the Control key, the right foot control, and the COM control. Okay, those are the 4 things we want to hold down. We want to actually select. I need to rename this real quick, so I'll dump those for a second. And we're going to call this global, and then CTRL. Hit enter. Again, you can just double click on it and you can rename it. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to select the root joint, holding the Control key down, Control, select the left foot control, the right foot control, and the COM control. And I'm going to hold down the mouse button, middle mouse button. I'm holding down the middle mouse button and moving it over top of the global control. Let go. So when I open the global control, we see that we have the root control, left foot control, right foot control, and the COM control. Now you could easily have parented these yourself, okay, by selecting the left foot control and then the global control and hitting the P key, if that's what you wish to do. But I tend to do it this way in the outliner, because this is a little more important that we get that structure right. Root control, left foot control, right control, and then the COM control. Alright, so when I click on the global control, this allows us to scale the character when we bind it. We can scale the character up, any scale we want. We can rotate the character as a whole, and we can move the character as a whole. Okay, great. So let's bring all that back. And what's the difference between the COM control? Well, the COM control won't let the reverse foot move. It's stuck to the floor, and that's a good thing, because I can just use the IK system that we put on the feet to its fullest potential. Otherwise we couldn't do that. Okay? So these guys here can be moved up. So basically you want to test the rig entirely, even the knee joints and everything, and make sure everything's working properly. Okay? Alright, that's it for now. You did a great job, and make sure you test your rig out thoroughly before you do all the paint weights. Make sure everything's still working. If you did set-driven keys in the fingers, make sure those work. If you've done the twist, make sure that still works. Make sure everything works as expected before you move forward. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to make sure that you set up and make sure you lock some of these keys down for the controllers. So I'll show you how to do that. And so we're going to show you how to lock down the controllers in certain axes so you don't accidentally try to move them in the wrong way. Okay.